I thought that big brothers were supposed to protect their little sisters, not hurt them. I'm a victim of sexual abuse by my brother, Shawne. My mother's telling me one thing and my brother's telling me another, so I'm like kind of confused on what really happened to me growing up. What I remember most is when got up in the middle of the night and I told my brother that I needed to use the bathroom. He didn't feel like getting up, so he told me to go and that I had lined up in my bedroom. And then another time, there was a time where he had me in his bed and I felt a sensation on my private. Just by the way, looking at my brother sometimes, he does kind of creep me out a little bit. And what's weird about it is that he has my name tattooed on him and I haven't seen him since I was 5. It's hard for me to trust men, you know, especially, you know, being in the relationships that I've been in, abusive and stuff like that. It's just really hard for me to trust men. Sometimes I don't even know what I am or who I am. And my brother, he also worked in a daycare, which kind of concerned me too, because if this happened to me and, you know, it could have happened to anybody else. So having this show, it could maybe open minds to other girls that have seen him or been around him that they shouldn't have been.
Nishelle, you've been told your whole life that your brother sexually abused you. Why are you here today?
To find out if he's telling the truth, because he says that he didn't do these things to me, but my mom says he has.
And when you were age 5, he was removed from the house?
Not right away. He
Right.
was left, he stayed a week after, and then after he...
And then you never saw him again?
No.
But then you ended up reconnecting with Shawne, how long ago?
Maybe a month and a half ago.
And how did that come about?
I seen a message back and forth with him and my mom on Facebook, and there was a number, so I called it. And at that point, I was very angry, and I asked him, you know, questions. Did you do this? Why did you do this? And he diverted it and said that, oh, my mom's a liar and stuff like that.
Is your mom a liar?
I don't think so. I don't think she would lie about something like this 20 years ago.
Right.
But one thing I wanted to add too, that when that night that the police came, that they found in the ceilings underwears of mine from when I was a baby up until I was 5. Right from underneath his bed.
All right, well, let's meet your brother, Shawne.
Did you do this to me?
Nishelle,
Did you do this to me?
you.
Why would you have do this to me? Mommy's not lying.
Nishelle, I love you. And
Did you do this to me? Yes or no? Did you?
No, I did not do this to you. I did not.
Well, I can't even stand to look at you right now.
Okay. Why don't you and me have a conversation?
Okay.
And when she's ready, she can come back out. So you were 23 and she was 5 at the time?
Yes.
Okay. And you were like her caregiver?
Yes.
And so from what I understand, you've told my producers your mother was a drug addict back then?
Yes.
And so you were really responsible for taking care of the show? And how did you find out you were being accused of, you know, being sexually inappropriate with her?
My mother called her friend, and they took me to the police station where I was charged.
And you were charged with what?
Indecent exposure.
And what happened with that charge?
And I was on probation for 3 years.
Oh, so you were found guilty?
I was on
Or
probation.
you pled guilty?
I pled guilty, and I was on probation.
So you pled guilty and said, yeah, I was indecent with her?
My lawyers had talked for me in court, and
But they had to explain to, this is what you're pleading to.
yes,
And you said, okay.
because I was scared. I was scared to death.
Did you feel like in your mind you did anything wrong?
No, I didn't.
You felt like your young sister being naked in bed with you wasn't wrong?
I didn't know at that time that she was naked.
Oh, so
in
you
my
went to
bed.
bed with her and she was clothed?
When I went to bed with her, she was clothed.
Who took her clothes off?
I don't remember how she got that way, but I know
But you
when.
remember everything else that happened with Mummy and everything else. You remember everything else. Why can't you remember that day? Why can't you remember that night? Why?
I can remember that.
But just that part, though, you can't remember. That makes no sense.
Were you hiding her panties up in the ceiling?
There were panties up in the ceiling, And
Did you put him up there?
Yes, I did.
Why?
Because she was going to the bathroom on herself, and I did not want my mother to find out.
Why didn't you just wash them?
Because the washing machine and everything was downstairs in the basement.
Were you doing anything with those panties?
No, I wasn't.
How many were up there?
Maybe 4 or 5.
4 or 5. Tell me about your relationship with your sister.
Growing up with her, I was her caretaker because my mother was strung out on drugs.
What kind of drugs was she strung out on?
Crack.
Crack.
And I made sure that she went to school, and I made sure she got fed and everything.
Well, what was she, in kindergarten before you left?
Preschool, yeah.
She was 5 years old.
Yeah.
So you weren't really raised with her, 5 years.
Yeah.
Yeah. What are you hoping for today, Shawne?
I'm hoping that I can
Pass this lie detector
pass
test.
the lie detector test.
And have a relationship
And have a
with her.
relationship with my
But
sister.
see, just the things you're saying, I don't have high hopes for it. Shawne, you came here and you took a lie detector test, and we asked you, when Nishelle was a child, did you perform any sex acts with her? You answered no. When Nishelle was a child, did you have any type of sexual physical contact with her? You answered no. The results came back the same to each question, and it came back that Shawne told the truth.
I don't know if I want a hug.
Yeah, I mean, you know, she just finds this out. I don't know if it's the hugging and all that relationship. I mean, you did some creepy things, but you were a young guy, and you know, I'm not making excuses, but you know, if you say what is true, your mother's strung out on drugs. Maybe he's overwhelmed as a young man. Maybe he doesn't know what to do with it. Young 5-year-old sister, but he didn't sexually assault you. He didn't touch you. He didn't do that. What's your reaction to that?
I'm sorry for wasting your time and bringing you on the show, but I felt like I needed to know myself because it's been affecting me my whole life. You know, saying that something has happened to me and it never did. So it's
I
like,
understand that.
I'm lost now.
Don't cry. I understand that, Nishelle.
I have other brothers too, and it just sucks because I don't have a relationship with none of them, and being in all these abusive relationships, it sucks. I don't know what to do, Steve.
Well, I think you take it real slow. I think you probably need somebody to talk to, and Steve and our counselor backstage can probably help with putting you in touch with somebody like that to sort through these emotions and feelings you have. And, you know, it'll be up to you whether you want to reestablish a relationship with Shawne. But it's not something I think you go, you know, diving head first into. You know, baby steps if you want. You know, hey, let's meet for coffee, you know, step by step. You have been through a lot, and maybe he didn't fail you, but maybe your mom did.
Yeah.
Because if she wasn't there because she was using drugs, and she put all the responsibility to him as a caregiver, as a young man, a lot of bad mistakes were made. But I do think there's a path forward. Even your mom, if she's clean now and she's trying to be a good mom, and he's here because he's trying to prove that he never did anything to you, I think there's a path forward to have relationships with these family members of yours.
Okay.
I definitely would give her space and wait till she's ready. If she wants to have start building a relationship with you,
Okay.
I wouldn't push it. And like I said, you know, when we go backstage, we're going to discuss getting you some help dealing with some of the things that you're going through. Thanks for coming on.
Thank you.